Following program is called
Braingames number 2. The first was known to drive people bananas. This one makes them completely bonkers.
Innocent viewers often scream
at the sight and sound of some of the questions.
People with weak knees
or those with a fear of failure are advised to refrain from viewing.
Parents should watch
only at the discretion of their children.
I said no, Mom.
No,
Mom.
So hold on to your thinking caps.
and let us begin.
Braingames. And now, game number 1.
Tales of Wrongovia. This is the secret book of Wrongovia, a place where everybody is out of sorts. And no wonder, because everything is out of time and place. To decipher the book's code, we will tell you tales, and you will tell us their mistakes. Let's begin. We now turn to the year 1596. Here is baby Pocahontas at her first birthday party. Her father, Chief Powhatan, has made an elaborate feast. At the party, there is one thing Powhatan could not have served his guests. Which one food could they not have eaten? Yummy rare roast beef, scrumptious boiled lobster, tasty roast squirrel, or super sliced turkey with all the trimmings. Well, Pocahontas could have poked her fingers into a lobster. There were plenty in the sea. And Pocahontas could have poked at roast squirrel. And turkeys aplenty lurked in the forest. But the one food that could not have been served at her birthday celebration was roast beef. Because cattle were not native to America, there was no roast beef until 15 years later when the colonists brought cattle from England. Now, let us flip to another page and another age. It is 1863. Honest Abe Lincoln is president. He can't get home for dinner because he's got to deliver a speech at Gettysburg. In order to get a message to his wife, President Lincoln could have used all these methods of communication except one. Which one could he not have used? The telegraph, the railroad, the telephone, or the stagecoach? Abe could have used the railroad, or sent his message by stagecoach. And yes, he could have wired by telegraph. But he could not have used the telephone, and not because he didn't have the right change. The telephone wasn't invented until 1876. By then, his dinner was stone cold, and Honest Abe was long since gone. We turn to another page, and who have we here? Martha Washington. It is 1776, and Martha wants to give her husband, General George Washington, a picture of herself to take on his travels. Which one of these following likenesses could she not have given to her gallant general? An oil painting? Perhaps a dainty silhouette? A lovely photograph? Or an enamel miniature? Well, Martha could have had an artist paint the picture, or create a silhouette, or even an enamel miniature. But photography was not invented until 1816. Alas, she couldn't have given George a photograph. Poor George. Let us now go west. It is 1866, and Jesse James is busy robbing banks. He's about to make another daring getaway. In making this getaway, he could have used all of these methods of escape except one. Which one could he not have used? Could Jesse have exited on a bicycle? Or a hot air balloon? Or a steamboat? Could he have jumped into a horseless carriage? Well, Jesse could have escaped on a bike. Or steamed away on a steamboat. Or beat the heat in a hot air balloon. But Jesse could not have used a horseless carriage or motor car because gasoline cars were not invented until 1885. But what Jesse probably used was his horse. Now it's time to close the book of Wrongovia. The sun is coming up, so it's time to say good night. I bid you farewell with a fond hello.
Game number 2.
It's time to play Whosamawhatchamacallits, the game in which we give you clues, and you tell us who or what. She's a cover girl who uncovers crime, a marvel when it comes to justice. She gives bad guys a hand in the form of a fist. No one crosses this Amazon, and no wonder. A patriotic dresser. Her bracelets are a knockout. She's Wonder Woman. This one's a game. At the end of the line, you get crowned king. It takes 64 squares to play this game, but you start with a round dozen. You can either be in the black or in the red. It's checkers. She walked on glass, but never got a scratch. A pumpkin coached her. She's a perfect 10 who has to be in by 12. Her stepsisters were all misfits. But when her slipper fit, it was wedding bells. She's Cinderella. He's an escape artist. This lockpicker was never arrested. Upside down, inside out, chained and underwater. If he wore handcuffs, they were his own. This great magician is Houdini. This hairy giant made it to the top of New York. His rise to success was a long climb. He prefers blondes to bananas. But when he picks up a girl, she goes ape. He's King Kong.
Game number 3.
Yikes! What was that? Boy, it's frightening out there. But am I scared? Nah. You know what I think? It's time to play Safari Solitaire. Okay, so let's play. You pick the card that doesn't belong. Now, when it comes to winter, a lot of animals make major changes in the way they live. Only one of these animals doesn't change his lifestyle when the temperature drops. Is it the groundhog, the robin, the weasel, or your basic cottontail rabbit? Now, which one of these animals makes no changes when winter comes? Well, if you pick the groundhog, you're wrong. The groundhog puts on a thick coat of fur and fat, builds a nest, and sleeps out the winter. Sweet dreams, little honey. And it's not the robin. He heads south, migrates nearly 1,000 miles for fun in the sun. And it's not the weasel. He sheds his brown coat and turns into a snow-white ermine with a black tail. Very classy. So, the one animal that does nothing special for winter is the rabbit. He just keeps doing his thing. If you said rabbit, jump for joy. Oh, did you hear that? Okay, now, let's play it again. Which one of these animals lives the longest? A hippo? A parrot? A giraffe? A man? It's not the hippopotamus. This 6,000-pounder lives about 30 years, and then he's off to hippo heaven. As for the long-necked giraffe, he has a short lifespan, about 15 years. You say it's the parrot? You've heard these birds live 150 years. Probably a parrot started that rumor. Fact is, parrots live about 50 years. The winners? Man, womankind, and kidkind. Here we live more than 70 years and going up. Good news. Holy mackerel! What was that? I'm nobody's dinner special. Let's deal our last hand. Only one of these animals can live entirely underwater. Which one of these sea creatures does not need to come up for air? Sam the sperm whale, Dave the dolphin, Sylvester the shark, or Priscilla the penguin? You're all wet if you said the sperm whale. He can stay underwater for about an hour, but then he comes up for a deep breath. Dolphins need air every few minutes. The penguin? She's no fish. She just dives deep for food, but has to come up to breathe. The answer? It's the shark that parks permanently underwater. He breathes through gills. So if you said shark, you came up right. Shark! And that's it for Safari Solitaire, my favorite game. Help! When's the next bus to Texas?
Game number 4.
My name is Hedda Whopper. I work for the Gadabout Bulletin, and I cover the news about Washington, D.C. party givers. Tonight is the Snootleys' Big Bash. The biggest problems here are the party crashers. Guests who just don't belong but try to sneak past security. My story is about uninvited guests, and that's the headline. Now, at the Snootly soiree tonight, you've got to help me cover the story. So let's watch the uninvited guests, those who try to crash the bash. In each group of guests, one does not belong. Ah, here we have the president, a governor, a mayor, and a lawyer. Now, one of them is a gate crasher. President, governor, mayor, lawyer? But which one? Well, the president, governor, and mayor are all elected officials. The lawyer doesn't belong. Sorry, lawyer. Next case. Ooh, artistic folk. The Snootlys love artistes. Oh, here's a dancer. A singer. A painter. And an actor. Charming. But one is a gatecrasher. Dancer, singer, painter, actor. Ooh. The dancer, the singer, and the actor are all theater folk, performing artists. But the painter doesn't belong. He gets the brush off. And here are the men at last. Oh, I do love strong men. But one of them is about to strike out. Is it the basketball player, the soccer player, the football player, or the hockey hunk? The basketball player, the soccer player, the football player, the hockey hunk. Sorry, Mr. Hockey. Although you're rather cute, you're the only one who plays without a ball. No goal today. Oh, I do love royalty. And so do the Snootlys. Ooh, here's a queen. A princess. A general. And His Majesty, a king. Practically a royal flush, but we must flush out the crasher. The king, queen, and princess are of blood royal, but the general was not meant to occupy a place at this party. Sound the retreat! And finally, the medical brigade. Mr. Snootly's cardiologist, the Snootly family pharmacist, Baby Snootly's pediatrician, and Mrs. Snootly's plastic surgeon. Now, one doesn't fill the prescription for a Snootly guest at this party. What's your diagnosis? The cardiologist doctors hearts. The pediatrician doctors children. The surgeon is a big operator. They all write prescriptions. They're doctors. But the pharmacist fills prescriptions. He's the pill at this party. Well, the proper guests have all arrived. The crashers have been sorted out, and it's time for the festivities to begin, and for me to leave. I wasn't invited either.
Game number 5. The following shipment of art masterpieces were discovered to be frauds. Now, I'm no art professor, just a good detective. The name of the game is Find the Fraud. Spot the mistakes in these supposed priceless art treasures. Take it away, Mona. Here's our first suspect. Good old patriotic George Washington crossing the Delaware in the cold winter of 1776, the time of the War of Independence. But this picture is a fraud. Why? Check out the flag. This flag has 50 stars for 50 states, but at that time, there were only 13 colonies to fight for. Sorry, George, don't flip your wig. Okay, take this next one. I am your son, King Tutankhamun, ruler of southern Heliopolis. This is supposed to be from 1350 BC, an original inscription from King Tut's tomb. But it's another phony. Know why? Well, King Tut couldn't have written in English. In fact, he couldn't have written letters at all. In Egypt back then, there was no alphabet. They used pictures and signs called hieroglyphics that stood for words. The guy who bought this piece from Egypt was gypped. What have we here? A happy Dutch family scene. It's Christmas Eve in 1663. But one of the items in this picture is not for real. You got it. There was no television in 1663. You'd have to wait until the 1940s. Sorry, Cookie. Find another picture. Now take a look at this one. It's 1775, and Paul Revere is coming to warn the Patriots that the British are coming. The British are coming. So, what's wrong? Check out the street lights. Electric, no less. Didn't have electric lights until the 1880s, so this picture is worthless. When Revere rode, he rode by moonlight. Well, my story of art frauds would not be complete without the biggest fraud of all. Get a load of the artist Whistler's portrait of his mom, painted in 1872. Sorry, Mom, no transistors, no cassettes in your day. If you listen to music, it was probably played by your good son, James. Or maybe at a concert. Sorry, Mrs. Whistler. Now, don't go off your rocker. I tell you, Mona, art frauds like these make me wish for a good old-fashioned murder. Sorry, folks, I gotta go now. Somebody's being framed.
Game number 6. The final game.
In the late night hours, Dr. Gibberish and his faithful counterpart, Nurse Feverish, perform a secret experiment. Known for expertise in how the body works, Dr. G has gathered the ingredients for a special creation. But Dr. G, the genius, often speaks in scrambles, so his words must be unscrambled. It's time to play Splatnarnt! Transplant! Dr. Gibberish has collected an assortment of vital organs which he will now put together to create who knows what. First, Nurse Feverish uncovers a pair of slightly used nedics. Nedics, they help to keep the blood nice and clean and to control the amount of water in the body. You wouldn't want a flood, would you? Nedics. What are they? Dr. Gibberish is asking for kidneys. Excellent. Now he may add them to his creation. Next, Dr. Gibberish adds one of the longest parts, a curly string of itinetzes. We are talking about 21 feet of tubing, and that's called the small one. There's a large one, too. Food goes through these tubes. The good stuff goes where it is needed in the body. The rest is waste. That is an itinetzes, Liebchen. Intestines! But what good are intestines without an am shot, I ask you? An am shot is an organ like a little balloon. When you eat, it gets larger, and when you digest, it gets smaller. Cute, yeah? Dr. Gibberish delicately places the am shot in place. What an artist! Oh, what a craftsman! You know what I'm talking about? Am shot! Stomach! It's a stomach! Next, Dr. Gibberish requests a strong aether for this lucky creature. This muscle is going to do a lot of work, keeping the blood moving around. Very important equipment. It's got to last a lifetime. So what's an aether? A heart, of course. And now, Dr. Gibberish calls for a renib. This organ's got grey matter and white matter, but what matters is what it is. Actually, it is nature's master computer, the home of memory and wisdom. A genuine renib. What is it? It's the brain, Liebchen. And now, the big moment. The brand new creature is twitching. It is rising. It is trying to speak. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Liebchen lizards. It seems Nurse Feverish got some froggy parts mixed with people parts. But so what? Better a pet monster that jumps around than schlumps around, yeah? Well, auf Wiedersehen until next time. From Splatnarnt Hospital. Ribbit, gribbit.
Gribbit.
Braingames is now over.
Oh, I do love royalty. And so do the Snootleys. Ooh, here's a queen. A princess. A general. And His Majesty. A king. Practically a royal flush.
Check out the flag. This flag has 50 stars for 50 states, but at that time, there were only 13 colonies to fight for. Sorry, George, don't flip your wig.
Pocahontas could have poked her fingers into a lobster. There were plenty in the sea. Here we live more than 70 years and going up. Good news.
My name is Hedda Whopper. I work for the Gadabout Bulletin, and I cover the news about Washington, D.C. party givers.
But photography was not invented until 1816.
There was no television in 1663. You'd have to wait until the 1940s. Sorry, Cookie. Find another picture.
Well, auf Wiedersehen until next time. From Splatnarnt Hospital. Ribbit, gribbit.
Gribbit.
The preceding program has been recommended for family viewing by the National Education Association.